Princess Hélène was lonely. She often found herself wandering the vast halls of her grand castle, feeling like a ghost in her own home. Despite the opulence and beauty surrounding her, a deep sense of isolation clung to her heart. She lived in a grand castle, a magnificent structure that stood proudly in the countryside, its towers reaching towards the sky. The castle was a symbol of power and wealth, but to Hélène it felt more like a gilded cage. It was filled with bustling servants and loving parents who adored her. Yet, amidst the constant activity and affection, Hélène felt a profound emptiness. The love and attention she received seemed to skim the surface, never truly reaching her soul. But Hélène felt invisible, like a whisper in a storm. The more she tried to make herself seen, the more she felt like she was fading into the background, her presence barely a ripple in the vast ocean of the castle's life. No one truly saw her. People walked past her, their eyes sliding over her as if she were part of the castle's decor. She was a princess in name, but in reality she felt like a phantom, unseen and unheard. Hélène yearned for connection, for someone to notice her smile, to hear her laughter. She longed for a friend who would see her for who she truly was, beyond the title and the crown. Her heart ached for genuine companionship, but her attempts to be seen went unnoticed. Her words lost in the castle echoes, her heart ached with the weight of unspoken words and unheard cries. The grand hallways that once seemed majestic now felt like endless corridors of solitude. Was she not worthy of attention? Hélène began to question her own value. She wondered if there was something inherently wrong with her, something that made her unworthy of being truly seen and loved. Did her presence mean so little? Doubts clouded her mind, casting a shadow over her thoughts. She felt like a small, insignificant part of a much larger picture, her existence barely making a mark. Self-doubt grew like a weed in her heart, spreading its roots deep into her soul. The more she tried to uproot it, the stronger it seemed to grow, feeding on her insecurities and fears. Hélène retreated further into herself, a shadow in the castle's grandeur. She became more withdrawn, her once bright spirit dimming under the weight of her loneliness. An unseen princess in a world that didn't see her. Hélène's story was one of silent suffering, a tale of a young girl lost in the vastness of her own home, yearning for a connection that seemed forever out of reach. One day a stranger arrived at the castle. His name was Malachi, a sorcerer of immense power. He sensed Hélène's vulnerability, her desperation to be seen. Malachi saw an opportunity. He would feed on her insecurities, twist her desires for his own gain. With a whisper of dark magic, he cast a spell. Hélène became truly invisible, not just unnoticed but unseen, gone from sight. A prisoner in her own skin. At first fear choked her, then a terrifying realization dawned. Her greatest fear had become reality, yet a part of her felt strangely numb, like this was her fate all along. The days turned into weeks. Hélène wandered the castle, unseen, unheard, utterly alone. Despair threatened to consume her, but then a spark ignited in the darkness. A faint voice whispered her name. It was Anara, an old sorceress. She saw Hélène, felt her presence. Anara knew of Malachi's curse. She had fought his darkness before. Hope flickered in Hélène's heart. Could this be her salvation? Could she break free from this invisible prison? Anara held out a shimmering shard, a piece of the shadow mirror, the key to breaking the curse, but it wouldn't be easy. Hélène had to face her fears, confront Malachi himself. Section 4. The journey begins. Hélène's heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. She clutched the shard tightly. It pulsed with a faint warmth, giving her strength and courage. She stepped outside the castle walls for the first time while invisible. The world stretched before her, full of unknowns, but also endless possibilities. Hélène was no damsel in distress. She wouldn't wait for rescue. She would fight for herself and her future, for her right to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. Her journey began. A journey of self-discovery, a quest to break the curse, but most importantly, a journey to find her own true voice. Section 5. Trials and Tribulations. The path was fraught with danger. Malachi's magic was everywhere, testing her, trying to break her spirit. Mischievous fairies led her astray, their laughter echoing through the woods, mocking her every step. But Hélène pressed on, ignoring their taunts. She encountered a coven of witches. Their eyes glowed with ancient power. Fear threatened to paralyze her, but their words were surprisingly kind. They warned her of Malakar's illusions, his power to deceive. And deceive he did. Malakar trapped Eleni in illusions. He preyed on her insecurities. He showed her visions of her parents, indifferent to her plight, her friends, forgetting her existence. Section 6. Facing the Shadow. Each illusion chipped away at Elaine's resolve. Doubt gnawed at her. Was she fooling herself? The path she had chosen seemed fraught with uncertainty, and every step felt heavier than the last. The shadows whispered her fears back to her, amplifying her insecurities. Was she destined to be invisible forever? The reflection in the water seemed to mock her, showing a face that was both hers and not hers. She wondered if she would ever break free from this curse that had bound her for so long. But then she remembered Anara's words. Anara, the wise elder who had seen through the veil of darkness, had always believed in her. Her voice echoed in Elaine's mind, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. The curse feeds on your self-doubt. Anara had warned her that the shadows were not just external, but internal as well. They thrived on her fears, growing stronger with every moment of hesitation. You are stronger than you think. These words were a lifeline, pulling her back from the brink of despair. She'd faced many challenges before, and each one had made her stronger, more resilient. Elaine clung to this sliver of hope. It was fragile, but it was enough. She held on to the memories of her victories, no matter how small, and let them fuel her determination. She would not let Malakar win. The dark sorcerer had taken so much from her, but he would not take her spirit. She would fight back, not just for herself, but for everyone who had suffered under his tyranny. She would fight for herself, for her right to exist, to be seen for who she truly was. Every step she took was a step towards reclaiming her identity, her power, and her place in the world. Finally, she reached the heart of Malakar's lair. The air was thick with malevolence, and the walls seemed to pulse with dark energy. But Elaine was undeterred. The shadow mirror loomed before her. Its surface rippled with trapped souls, their energy feeding Malakar's power. It was a grotesque sight, but Elaine knew she had to face it. He stood before the mirror, a smug grin on his face. Malakar's confidence was palpable, but Elaine could see the flicker of doubt in his eyes. "You cannot defeat me, princess." His voice dripped with condescension, but Elaine stood her ground. She had come too far to be swayed by his taunts. "You are nothing, invisible, forgotten." But Ellen knew better. She was not invisible, and she would not be forgotten. She was a force to be reckoned with, and she was ready to prove it. Section 7. A Crown of Courage. His words were like venom, but Elaine refused to let them poison her. She had faced many challenges before, but this was different. This was a battle for her very soul, a test of her inner strength and resilience. She could feel the weight of Malakar's dark energy pressing down on her, trying to crush her spirit. But Elaine was not one to be easily broken. She had come too far, endured too much to let him win now. She raised the shard of the shadow mirror, a symbol of her defiance and determination. The mirror, once a tool of darkness, now served as a beacon of her inner light. It was a reminder of all the battles she had fought and won, a testament to her unyielding spirit. It pulsed with light, reflecting her own inner strength. The light was not just a physical phenomenon, it was a manifestation of her courage, her will to fight against the darkness. As the light grew brighter, Elaine felt a surge of power within her, a power that came from knowing who she truly was. "You are wrong, Malakar," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "I am not nothing, I am Elaine." Her words echoed through the forest, a declaration of her identity and worth. She had spent too long in the shadows, doubting herself, but no more. She was ready to stand in the light, to claim her place in the world, and "I am worthy of being seen." Her voice was steady now, filled with conviction. She had found her strength, her voice, and she was not afraid to use it. She knew that she was more than the sum of her past mistakes and fears. She was a warrior, a survivor, and she would not be silenced. With a surge of courage, she slammed the shard into the shadow mirror. The impact was immediate and powerful, a physical manifestation of her inner resolve. She was breaking free from the chains that had bound her, shattering the illusions that had kept her trapped in darkness. It shattered into a million pieces, releasing a blinding wave of energy. The explosion of light was like a beacon, signaling the end of Malakar's reign of terror. The shards of the mirror scattered like stars, each one a fragment of Elaine's reclaimed power. Malakar screamed in rage and pain as his power was stripped away. His cries echoed through the forest, a testament to his defeat. He had underestimated Elaine, and now he was paying the price. His dark energy dissipated, leaving him powerless and broken. The trapped souls were freed, their grateful whispers filling the air. They had been imprisoned for so long, but now they were free, thanks to Elaine's bravery. Their voices were a chorus of gratitude, a reminder that her actions had far-reaching consequences. Elaine emerged from the wreckage, no longer invisible, bathed in the warm light of her own courage. She had faced her fears and won, and now she stood tall, a beacon of hope and strength. The sunlight felt warm on her skin, a physical reminder of her victory. She was finally seen, not just by others, but by herself. For the first time in a long time, Elaine felt truly alive. She had reclaimed her identity, her power, and her place in the world. She was no longer just a survivor, she was a warrior, a leader, and a beacon of light in the darkness.